one thing I really do have an opinion on is this craziness that we're seeing out of Washington, D.C. So we are perhaps moments away from a shutdown. Mike Johnson says, no, you don't need to worry about it. Here he is.
Yeah, because I've got a couple of things I got to wrap up in a few moments upstairs, but I expect that we will be proceeding forward. We will not have a government shutdown, and we will meet our obligations for our farmers who need aid, for the disaster victims all over the country, and for making sure that military and essential services and everyone who relies upon the federal government for a paycheck is paid over the holidays. I'll give you the more details here in just a few moments.
Have you talked to President-elect Trump
Okay.
about this?
I'm not so sure we're going to avoid a shutdown, okay? I appreciate the confidence, but I'm not so sure about that. What I don't appreciate is the sort of saber rattling that you're hearing from the likes of, say, one Alejandro Mayorkas, our Homeland Security chief that has allowed millions of people to pour across our border, our open border with Mexico. Here he is speaking with Margaret Brennan, really trying to scare the heck out of everyone. You better sign this thing or else. We can't have a shutdown or else. Wait for it.
We could be just hours away from another government shutdown unless Congress comes up with some kind of funding mechanism. Do you have a sense yet of how operations will be impacted by shutdown?
Oh, most certainly, and they must come up with the funding for the Department of Homeland Security and the entire federal government. We are approaching the holidays. Let me give you one powerful example. We're going to have tens of thousands of TSA employees working an incredibly high volume of passenger traffic throughout our airports across the country, and they will be doing so, keeping the American public safe without pay. We're going to be losing our Countering Weapons of Mass Destruction office.
Wait, what? What?
We need the funding.
Losing the Weapons of Mass Destruction
The
office?
Countering Weapons of Mass Destruction, its funding will end, and we will have to redirect its personnel to other parts of our department. The implications and the consequences are serious, especially when it comes to Homeland Security.
How do you figure out which office to shut down?
So there are really rules that govern who are so essential that they must remain in service, even though they will not be paid.
So how many federal workers, do you have any ballpark estimate on how many will be working without any paycheck?
I don't exactly, Margaret. I don't have that number.
But will they be able, the air traffic controllers and the security agents at airports, will they be paid eventually? Can you promise them that?
I cannot promise
Oh,
them
please.
that.
So they will be paid eventually. So they're trying to scare the heck out of everybody, okay? Alejandro Mayorkas saying, we're going to have to shut down the Office of Countering of Weapons of Mass Destruction. So, like, the whole world's kind of picking up on that one. Like, first of all, if you have no way of countering a weapon of mass destruction, even during a government shutdown, then what the hell is the government doing? Period. Full stop. Like, the government clearly is not capable of anything, because if you can't stop a weapon of mass destruction from coming into the country because somebody's not getting paid on Friday, then woo, we got bigger problems, okay? So that's just, something they're flashing out there, trying to get everybody all excited about. And then all the TSA workers are not going to get, everybody gets paid, okay? Everybody gets paid. That's always how this thing works. I have covered so many of these at this point. I mean, it becomes like nauseating. It's like, oh, here we are. It's Christmas, going into New Year's. I remember when, like, New Year's Eve, and Bloomberg was like, well, you come on for the shutdown. It looks like there's going to be a government shutdown, and I'm like, no, I'm going skiing. Thank you very much, people. And then one of my friends had to sit there. I felt bad for him on New Year's Eve, but better him than me. Because this is what happens every single time. And I don't disagree, guys. I mean, shut it down. Here's what we need. We need to know what the heck is in there. And granted, it was offered. I mean, Elon Musk came forward and offered a much slimmer. Did you see the picture? He tweeted this out. There was like the 1,500 page bill. And then there was the one that Elon and Vivek were proposing that was like this because it was a clean CR. But nope, they want to stuff it full of pork, like all kinds of pork. Here we are days before Christmas, and this is their MO. I mean, we talked about it the other day, right, with Senator Toomey. He came on the show, and it's so crazy because he's like, this is what they do. This is what they do. And you get Chuck Schumer, you get the Democrats. They're just trying to stuff every little last thing that the lobbyists have written. Remember when Nancy Pelosi said, well, we'll find out what's in the bill when it's passed? That's like one of these moments. They don't really even know what's in there because the lobbyists have written this thing. It is monstrous. And you know what it includes? I mean, there's all kinds of crazy things that it includes. Crazy, wacky things, but one of the wackiest and one of the worst in my estimation for the American people is this $50 billion boondoggle that they're stuffing in there to help Big Pharma. So this is something that Big Pharma's lobbyists have worked on clearly, and it would basically prevent companies from having any kind of say in the drug pricing. So the government and Big Pharma would suddenly be deciding the prices on all the drugs. You know who that's helping, right? This is a stuffed stocking spending bill. How do you like that? That's what I call it. Disastrous policies, all kinds of disastrous policies that would basically involve this very dramatic expansion of big government. And we don't want big government. We're not big government people. We're not big pharma people. We don't want top-down economics dictating everything. We believe in the power of the people. And so the American people have spoken. You guys are key to this. I'm telling you, you are everything right now. We together collectively are everything. This was why Elon tweeted this out. I love this. Let me see if I have a copy of it. Because yes, here it is. He wrote, your elected representatives have heard you, and now the terrible bill is dead. The voice of the people has triumphed. Vox Dei, Vox Populi. This is the voice of the people. Again, like, you can't just keep stuffing all this CRAP into this boondoggle and think that that's going to be okay. It's just so wrong. And, you know, I love it because it's now becoming an issue. People are seeing it for all it's worth, and it's getting exposed. I mean, every year, Big Pharma's out there. They're hiking prices on hundreds, I mean, thousands, right, of prescription drugs. You know it. You've seen it. You've felt it. And they ensure that Americans basically stay locked into that. They stay locked into paying their high prices because they're out there blocking competition. How do you block competition? You get the government to help you. They lock in these prices, and then they spend billions of dollars on these obnoxious ads, which run on ABC News, which we were just talking about, and the other networks, CBS, NBC, these really atrocious ads. Like, you can't watch them with your children. You can't watch the evening news anymore because they've got these crazy pharma commercials that come on left and right. And basically, Americans wind up subsidizing those ads for those news networks. And they don't get the lower drug prices. So there's something really wrong with this. I mean, again, Senator Toomey talking about it. Go listen to the interview. I actually packaged it up separately on the channel so you can hear it all. And if you want to know more, you can go over to, I think their website is Pharma Windfall. That's where I read a lot of this anyway, pharmawindfall.com. You can check it out and get more information. But listen, this is why we need Doge, okay? This is why we need people looking at this stuff and being proactive about this stuff. I mean, Congress is in kind of a bad spot right now. I'm telling you, this is not ideal for any of them because they do want to get the aid to the people, the hurricane victims, for example. And we need essential services to stay open. But you know what? We don't need everything else. It's time things change. Like, change. This is what this election was about.